We haven't really gotten into this yet because there's been so much big stuff happening, but it turns out that the deep state is not so comfortable over at the FBI anymore. In fact, there have been some senior level resignations, people being pushed out, looking for more about who was involved in J6. Julie Kelly joins us now. She is the author on Substack of Declassified with Julie Kelly, and I highly recommend you see what she is writing these days. Julie, bring us up to speed because these aren't just random names and news stories. You've been following some of these characters at the FBI and what they've done to J6 people, at the senior level in particular. But bring us into the shockwaves that have MSNBC putting former FBI people on the TV to tell us that fascism is here. What's going on?
Right. So we know about the purge at the DOJ of some top officials who were involved in this ongoing lawfare against President Trump. Some of them were reassigned to an immigration enforcement unit, and at least one of them resigned because he really doesn't want to get his fingernails dirty. He'd rather be doing the dirty work of the Democratic Party. Those days, of course, are over. We also know that several assistant U.S. attorneys in the D.C. U.S. Attorney's Office, the office that has been handling or was handling the January 6th investigation and prosecution, they also have been terminated. But now we're focused on this purge at the FBI. Several top officials, including the deputy director at the Washington field office. It looks like the head of the Las Vegas field office, and a few more have been retired, resigned, let go. We're not really sure what the circumstances, how they went about that. But what's really interesting, what I'm keeping an eye on today, you guys, is this questionnaire that was sent out over the weekend, or maybe it was Friday, to every FBI employee, asking them to account for their involvement in the J6 prosecution and investigation. Now, we know, because Chris Wray used to brag about, every single one of the 56 FBI field offices were involved in that investigation and prosecution. What the acting FBI director has been asked to do, and it appears, and we can talk about him as well, that he is being somewhat defiant in executing this order and this questionnaire to all of these employees, asking them what they did. Were they witnesses at trials? Did they surveil Americans? Were they handling search warrants? Were they handling these armed raids? That questionnaire is due back this afternoon, and then we will see from there what the acting DOJ officials want to do with that. Hold off until Pam Bondi is confirmed, or take some immediate action.
Julie, is there anything Trump hasn't done yet that you think he should do? You were way out in front on pardon all the Jan 6ers. He did that. The blowback has been almost non-existent. I think partly that's because of how absolutely indefensible many of the pardons that Biden gave on his way out were. But you won that battle. It has been transformative, I think, for many people out there had to deal with those prosecutions. What's on your checklist that Trump hasn't done yet? And can you believe what he's already done in basically
No.
14 days?
No, I can't. I mean, I think I said the other day, this is something that I used to like dream about, is that these prosecutors would feel the same sort of pain that they've inflicted on J6ers. Now, certainly all of the FBI agents who were involved as well. So, yes, I mean, this is stunning. And again, kudos to President Trump, the acting Attorney General, James McHenry, the acting Deputy Attorney General, Emil Bove, who will remain in the Department of Justice after Pam Bondi, and the permanent Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche is confirmed. So this, it has exceeded my wildest dreams, and they really were wild dreams, because I thought these people are never going to be held accountable for what they're doing. But a few things. I really hope that the president considers pardoning the rest of the people, those 14 individuals whose sentences were commuted. A few of them, Thomas Caldwell, for example, and I hope you guys have him on your show. He wasn't sentenced to prison. He was not a member of the Oath Keepers. He had one charge left against him at the end of the day, and that was tampering with documents, because he got rid of his Facebook account, believe it or not, and that was even vacated by the judge. So I really would like to see the president consider pardoning those individuals as well. Also, we have the Whitmer Fednapping hoax. We have two men in supermax prisons being tortured. I mean, they are with the country's most hardened repeat offenders, serious criminals, serious terrorists. And of course, those men also entrapped by the FBI. I would like to see his DOJ, if not pardon those two individuals, but launch an investigation into what happened there. So, but I'm not complaining because this is, as I said, a far better start than any of us could have dreamed of.
What do you think comes next? Is this all, Julie? I know you've been following this so closely. Is this going to just get tangled up in the courts really fast? Because really, at the heart of this, it seems to me that there is this belief that if you work for the federal government, you just can't be fired. I mean, that you get to just do what you do and nothing ever happens. And then when you have a president who comes in and with presidential power and with his appointees and saying, no, I'm sorry, there is going to be accountability. What would it mean if the courts overturned this and said, no, sorry, you actually can't fire these FBI? Do you see what I mean? What do you think happens next? And what are the implications of it?
Right. So this very well could end up in the courts. You had Norm Eisen, our favorite lawfare architect, and Mark Zaid send a letter to the Department of Justice yesterday, warning that you'll love this, you will love this, that the due process and constitutional rights of these prosecutors and FBI agents are being violated, that they are going to be subject to doxing and harassment because they are being exposed for what they've done, especially in the J6 investigation, and that these lawyers will pursue some sort of legal means to defend these government employees from getting the axe. So it could end up in the courts. The problem is it will probably end up in the DC courts before the very same judges who have put their imprimatur on every aspect of this lawfare, from President Trump down to some of his associates, and of course, almost 1,600 J6 defendants. So I figure this will be a battle, but there's going to be risk involved for that side as well. And that is arguing why they should have been fired and what they did, whether it was top DOJ officials or, an FBI case agent out of a field office in Nevada or in Texas. So this full accounting is going to be very eye-opening. And I think that they're kind of setting the table for Pam Bondi and Kash Patel to take this information that they have and then decide how they want to pursue their own investigations or inquiries into the DOJ and FBI.
This is all very important, and you've done tremendous work, as has Trump. How impressed, be honest, Julie, are you with my unbelievable recovery from the flu? And also the fact that I have barely talked about it at all.
I just want to give thanks to God for sparing you from the sniffles. I mean, it's really sounded touch and go. And now we have to send prayers out to Jesse Kelly because he has the
I know, you're
sniffles
weighing
too.
in. Jesse's entire family is about to go down with the flu.
Yes.
I was very brave. I stayed in bed. I watched 12 hours of college basketball. I frankly think it was a heroic battle I was fighting.
Well, I painted Save Clay on the water tower outside my house, and now I'm going to have to go change it, Save Jesse, because, and who knows who's next. I mean, this is
True.
quite the cold that
The men in
that
America are
you
under
guys are
siege. I mean, we
getting.
just don't talk about our health as often as we should, but we're really all very steadfast troopers.
And
You
Julie,
are
just
just
so you
tough
know,
as
you may
nails.
think it's AI that Fauci visited Clay with a special check-in to make sure he got his 14th booster, but there are some people out there who don't accept that explanation and think that really it was just surveillance footage.
Well, I
The
think that
Fauci
if
meme,
Fauci really showed up, we would have a far different outcome for Clay. So
I think that's very true.
I'm glad that's not
I
real.
think Julie, you continue to dominate. We appreciate you taking the time to come on. And also, I want to give producer Greg a shout out because it was his creation of that Fauci meme that, as I was deliriously rolling over in a fever, wasn't sure if I was going to make it or not. That was the thing that was on my phone. So I appreciate Greg. Julie, I expect that when you get the flu, you'll also be doing 8 other jobs at the same time, as most women do. But we appreciate you.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you. Buck, that's Julie Kelly, who does fabulous work. Do you buy into the fact, as women like to argue, that all men, when they get sick, are complete and total wusses? Is this a unfair attack on masculinity, or do you think we're more of wusses when we get sick than women are?
I just think that my view on this is that men, particularly when they're sick, they want that feminine nurturing from the missus, and so they ham it up a little bit, a little bit like, oh, I don't know if I'm ever going to be the same again. Can you bring me some chicken noodle soup, honey? Whereas I think women don't really, you know what I mean? I think that they just kind of handle it a little bit more.
They don't have any desire for male nurturing.
Like, I don't think Laura thinks you're going to make from scratch chicken noodle soup from her because it would probably not taste very good. So she's not angling for that.
That's accurate.
Yeah.
That's actually a good thesis on what's going on here, because women do regularly attack men. But I will say that my battle with the flu this weekend was probably the equivalent of 10 labor deliveries by women. That's just how hard I was fighting. Again, humbly.
Oh boy.
Maybe 9, nine baby deliveries. I mean, it's just like my immune system, the battle that I was fighting. I just think it's important for all of you to know. Julie Kelly, always fantastic. I want to tell you, from day one on the show, Pure Talk's been, these emails, by the way, are going to be great. That was Buck who compared the flu to labor. Make sure that you address him.
Don't let him get away with that. False. False.
From day one on the show, Pure Talk's been with us. Compare Pure Talk's pricing to any other cell phone company service, and Pure Talk comes out ahead by more than 50%. Big cell phone companies may make a big deal with their 3-year deal at $100 a month bundled with a new cell phone, but Pure Talk's deal is better. With a qualifying plan at just $45 a month, you can get a Samsung Galaxy or an iPhone 14 for $0. Yes, premium service, unlimited talk, text, 25 gigs of data, mobile hotspot at a fraction of the price of the big guys. Get your Samsung Galaxy or iPhone 14 $0 by dialing pound 250 and say the keywords Clay and Buck. Pure Talk's U.S. customer service team will help you make the switch right there. Same phone number going forward. Dial pound 250, new phone, same phone number, and say the keywords Clay and Buck to claim that Samsung Galaxy or iPhone 14 for $0 with qualifying purchase from Pure Talk, America's wireless company.